All right, there we go. So, let's get... So, all right. So, we are going to build a deck. And by request, I'm going to build a deck around this card, Azor's Elocutors. So if you do not know what it does, basically every upkeep you get a filibuster counter, of all things. Then if it has 5 or more filibuster counters on it, you win the game. Whenever a source deals damage to you, you have to remove a filibuster counter from it. So a little bit different build than usual, considering we are building specifically with a card in the deck in mind, not the actual commander. But let's get into it. So we are going to start building a deck in tapped out, and the way that I like to do it is start off with setting it as a prototype and making it private so that I can tinker with it and it doesn't mess with anything else that's out there. Alright. So, obviously first card that we're going to add is Azor's Elocutors. So from here I like to try to think about what it is that we need to make this succeed. So we've got a couple of options. We can obviously go to a certain extent pillow fort so that people don't attack. We could go kind of the turbo fog route. We are going to want some amount of tutoring to make sure that we actually get this guy out. Either tutoring, you know, a lot of card draw, filtering, things like that. So let's start looking at card draw and filtering. Now let's start by looking at pillow fort type stuff. So I usually use magiccards.info. Sometimes I'll go to EDH Rec for resources, but we're gonna start here and we'll see what we come up with. So pillow fort, we want to pay, attack, and we want it, well, we'll see what we get first and then filter the colors from there. Okay. So red, I doubt we're going to get anything out of that. It primarily looks like we're looking in the blue-white area anyway. There's going to be some green, obviously, available to us. I don't know that we're necessarily going to use that. But we've got our first pillow fort card that showed up, which is Archangel of Tides. I think that's probably a pretty good early add. We'll see if we keep it around. keep going through here. We've got Azor the Lawbringer. He's not really pillow forting too much. The enter the battlefield trigger, so each opponent can't cast instants or sorcery spells during their turn. It stops a little bit of direct damage. He does card draw and he does gain life. He's definitely a maybe. So we'll go ahead and put him in the maybe board over here. Let's see what else we've got. No. No. Alright, so Collective Restraint. Collective Restraint is a pretty classic. Well, see, we just deleted stuff now. And we'll add that back. Okay. Collector's Restraint is a very powerful pillow fort card. I feel like we might actually end up having a bit of a sub-theme of enchantments in here. Alright, let's see what else we have. Elephant Grass is a potential because non-black creatures can't attack you unless their controllers pay an additional 2. It has a cumulative upkeep of 1. We might end up in Bant, so let's definitely keep that one as a possibility. Alright. Moving on. Red, red. Alright, so let's go back to our query and let's get rid of everything that's not banned for right now. Alright, that makes it a little bit better. So we've already gone through these. There we go. We've got Ghostly Prison. Glacial Chasm, pay 2 life. So Azor's Elocutors says that we can't be dealt damage. So this does not deal damage. It actually, you have to pay the life. So Glacial Chasm is probably a very good add. Okay, the other thing that I was thinking that we probably want to add at least some of in here is Proliferate. And the person who requested it also said something about lots of taking extra turns. So extra turns, and in this case we actually want an extra upkeep also, because that's when they trigger. Alright, no creature can attack if it attacked during its controller's last turn. That's not really that good. Okay. Now this Ith gives me the idea that we probably want Maze of Ith in here. Not super powerful because it's only going to stop one creature, but it does help a little bit. Jace Architect of Thought shrinks down creatures. It's probably pretty good if we pair it with something like Humility, which makes all of opponent's creatures 1/1s. So we'll throw him in here for right now. And throw humility in here as well. And right now I'm just tossing cards in here. If they make the final cut, they make the final cut. Norn's Annex is a pretty good Pillow Fort card for these colors, since they either have to be in white or pay life to attack you, so I actually really like that one. Alright, what do we got here? Peacekeeper is a maybe. I'm not super high on this card generally, just because of the upkeep, but creatures not being able to attack is pretty good, which honestly, Blazing Archon is probably going to be better. Right? Creatures can't attack you, and it's a giant body. It does cost 9, so meh. But we'll see. Maybe it sticks around, maybe it doesn't. Alright, so what else do we have here? Propaganda is almost a guarantee. Sphere of Safety is very good. Again, you can see that we're emerging with a strong theme of enchantments here. Get all them time warps, huh? Yeah, I mean, we put up here that we definitely want to keep in mind extra turns. I'm actually thinking Paradox Haze is probably going to be better in this case. But yes, extra turns may be involved as well. Alright, let's see. Mostly Garbo. This is like a propaganda you have to pay for every time. Windborne Muse is nice. Yeah, typing always being difficult for me, but alright. So that's a good start on the Pillow Fort cards. So far we really have primarily Azorius. We still have the Elephant Grass in the maybe board. Not really sure about that, because that's the only card that I'm seeing. I mean, yeah, the Turbo Fog thing is a possibility, in which case green is nice, but I don't think it's necessary, so I think we're going to take the Elephant Grass out altogether. And we're going to, we'll leave the Turbo Fog concept there. From here, I want to start looking at Azorius commanders, because I think that's the direction that we're going in. So we want white, blue, multicolored, and legendary creature. Alright, let's see what we come up with. There's Hot Garbo. There is Azor, which is a possibility. Brago's not really right for this deck, unless we built in a lot of like tempo type pieces, but I don't think that's really the direction that we're going. But we can keep it in mind. Bruna is all auras. Daxos is definitely looking to attack. We don't care about that. Ojutai digs. I kind of like that, but he has to attack, which I'm not really all that interested in doing. Enters the battlefield. This is really like a flash-based deck for Afara. Geist of St. Traft is attacking. Hey, it's Grand Arbiter. That seems like our guy. And yep, we're going to be that guy. Guafa Hazid is also a possibility here. You know, if you wanted to go a slightly less mean route, people tend to really dislike Grand Arbiter. I think that it's really good protection. It's cost reduction, kind of doing everything that you want it to do. Hannah, not bad for getting our enchantments back, but we're not completely going in an enchantment direction, so it's not where I want to be. Garbage is shy is just getting big. Stuff in the air. If you get attacked, you draw cards. Yeah, but we don't want to incentivize. We don't want them attacking us, so if the only benefit is that I get to draw cards, it's not that great. Lavinia the 10th is not that bad because it does lock people down for a turn. Now Modamai does have that extra turn thing, but he does have to deal combat damage, and I feel like I'd have to build around that a little bit more. This freezes a permanent, it's not very good. Rasputin Dreamweaver is awesome, but not for this deck. Tygam, not really. Token Strat, no. So, yeah, I think that we're best off with either Lavinia, Guafa Hazid, or the meanest route, which is probably where I'm going to go, which is Grand Arbiter. So, let's put Grand Arbiter here. Alright, so I think we've sufficiently hit Pillow Fort. Turbo Fog I think we're mostly getting rid of. I do want to look at some fog effects though, so let's take a look and see, because there's a few very good ones in these colors. So we'll go to Advanced Search again, and Prevent Damage will be our search for blue-white. Alright, there is a lot of them. So we'll refine it even more and say prevent all damage. Alright, that's a little bit better. So we're going to have a lot of regular just fog effects that I'm not going to be all that interested in here. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to target creature. Yeah, I don't care. Let's see. Channel harm. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you and permanents you control this turn by sources you don't control. I mean 6 mana. So Comeuppance. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you and planeswalkers you control by sources you don't control. I mean, Comeuppance is a maybe, I think. Let's see, what else? Prevent all damage that would be dealt to that. Don't care. So more specifically, let's try to refine this even more, because there's a lot of garbage here. They only lose counters if you are dealt damage. So prevent all damage that would be dealt to you is what we're really looking for. So let's take a look at Bad Avacyn. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to another creature, don't care. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to target player this turn by sources of a color of your choice. I mean, a 7 mana fog from one color doesn't seem all that good. Alright. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Regenerate target creature. Or counter target spell that counters you. Dawn Charm is a maybe. It can fog. It can regenerate the Elocutors if we need it to. And it can counter a spell if we need it to. So that's not horrible. Endure is just like kind of a super one-way fog. Gideon of the Trials, fog's one thing, not very good. More Gideons, generally not interested. The only thing I liked about red was we could goad stuff. All damage dealt to you. Dealt to creatures you control, don't care. Prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to creatures you control, no. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures you control, no. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you during your turn. Okay, so nobody can use instant speed damage. I'm not that worried about that. I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't think we build around it. Stuffy Doll plus Pariah. Yeah, that is definitely a possibility. Let's take a look at that real quick. So, Stuffy Doll. Stuffy Doll is obviously a good blocker. And then Pariah, I don't remember the exact interaction. How's it going, competitive commander? You having a good night? All damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to that instead. Yeah, okay. I mean, we can definitely... Let's see if we can fit that in there. And then Pariah's Shield. If we end up going deep on that. It is indeed a nice night for brewing. It's always a nice night for brewing. Alright, Selfless Squire, I think, is a no-brainer. Alright, what else we got here? What else? We could go just straight Azorius Dinosaurs? No, that sounds bad. Okay. The other thing that I definitely want to put in here is Teferi's Protection, because it's just the best as far as fog effects. So, like I said, I don't want to go too deep on those. I'm going to look at Proliferate next. There's probably not going to be a ton of these, but I think that there's maybe one or two that are worth it. Because in this case, the Proliferate almost acts as a time warp. You know, because if all we're trying to do is build towards Azor's Elocutors, then, you know, something that proliferates them once or twice is going to be pretty good. Atrax is not going to happen. I'm going to save my draft real quick. Of course something doesn't register, because I can't spell. There we go. Contagion Clasp is a possibility. I like Contagion Engine, but I feel like it's just way too expensive here. Fuel for the Cause is a possibility, but that card is just not good in most cases. Inexorable Tide is a little bit deep, I think, for trying to proliferate one card. Steady Progress. Tezzeret's Gambit, I think, is an easy add. Thrumming Bird. Meh. Viral Drake. Yeah, there's not a ton of options here. I think Steady Progress is probably the second best one. So, all right. Now let's start looking at these extra turns. This was part of the challenge here. First, I'm going to add Paradox Haze. So, if you're not familiar with Paradox Haze, here it is. Basically, it gives you an additional upkeep step, which usually sounds pretty useless. In this case, I think it's not too bad. So we'll add that in there. Let's see, is there anything else that gives us additional upkeeps? I don't think so. But we might need some hot tech for something that we can get out of having an additional upkeep. Until then, let's take a look at these extra turns. Turn after this. Alright, we need white, blue only. Okay, so Beacon of Tomorrow's really high cost. Don't think that that's gonna do it. We are gonna want some Wraths. Expropriate. Also a really high cost, but I feel like you probably get enough advantage from it. So we are going to need to build in a decent amount of ramp to actually make that work, though. So all right, let's see what else we've got here. Illusionist Gambit is a cute potential fog also. I actually like that card. But it's one of those cards that I add into things and then I immediately remove because, you know, it's probably not that great in most situations. All right. Yeah, I don't think we actually ever get there with Lighthouse Chronologist. Though he might be a maybe board thing. Let's see. Magosi. Is there a way to exploit this thing that I'm just completely unaware of? Because I've thought about this card a lot, and I cannot. So you put an Eon counter on it, and skip your next turn. Remove an Eon counter from it, and return it to owner's hand. So even if you have multiple, yeah. I guess if you Stranic Resonated, right? That's about it, but that seems really deep for this deck. Part the Water Veil. I'm not a huge fan. Alright, let's see. Knowledge. If knowledge gets more votes, takes an extra turn. Da 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 da. Meh. Plea for Power is a maybe. Sage of Hours has a very specific deck you need to build. Alright, so now we've got to some that actually make a little bit of sense. Alright, Temporal Manipulation is a good idea. It's basically just a time warp. Temporal Mastery is a good idea. All the time warps. I don't think all of the time warps is necessarily the best way to do it. I mean, we're already starting out with a commander that everyone hates. I don't think that we should be feeding into the hate train that much. Time Stretch is too greedy in this situation. Time Vault is banned. It's a shame. Time Warp. Alright. And that's probably going to be it. People were talking about this card like it was actually going to be good, and it's just not. I actually like Walk the Aeons here, because if we're trying to just like get our last two counters or something, we could buy this back and then just know that we win unless somebody has something. So that's going to be the other thing that we're going to need to add in here, is some level of counter magic. Not a ton, but enough to protect us. Alright, so what do we have here? We've got our extra turn type stuff. We've got some Pillow 40 type stuff. All of these are going to go into the main. My Narset has 7 time cards and about 5 extra. I still want to squeeze in a couple more. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not saying that doesn't sound like a great time, taking all of the extra turns, but I just at a point even I get bored watching my own turns when I'm just goldfishing. So I try to not go too overboard with them. 7. What 7 good time cards are there? I don't know. Man, I mean, but Narset's the place to do it. If you're gonna build a Narset deck, you know, that's a good place to have those. All right, so let's talk about wraths, or let's look at removal in general. All right. Exile creature. And yeah, of course, we want it to just be in blue, white. What other silly cards can win if given unobstructed turns? I mean, can't like a 1/1 soldier token win given unobstructed turns. But that is a good question. Enters the battlefield, exile all creatures with power 5 or greater. No, not this, but Grasp of Fate it brings to mind, and Grasp of Fate is pretty good here. I want a Swords to Plowshares. I want a Path to Exile. I want Return to Dust. And that's at least a decent start at some removal. Destroy all creatures. Let's see. Destroy all creatures. What do we got here? We've got Akroma's Vengeance, otherwise known as Command Tower, apparently, on magiccards.info. That's a little unfortunate. Austere Command seems pretty good. I think that it might be good if we had what is it? Tragic Arrogance, right? It's Tragic Arrogance for each player you choose among their permanents. All these things, so I can hopefully pick their smallest things if I'm in a good board position to do that. That seems pretty decent. And what is the other card that does the same thing but with lands included? Cataclysm. Yeah, Cataclysm seems almost definite, right? Each player choose. Oh, so they get to choose it though, which I'm less of a fan of. But and then Cataclysmic Gearhulk. Each player chooses an artifact, so they get to choose it for this too. And it does not take into consideration lands. So he's a maybe. Cataclysm, man, that's a good card. It's just really good. Maybe even Armageddon. God, man, we really want to get hated out of this game. You might be right. Man, Armageddon. That's a hardcore move. But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe Divine Reckoning. Let's take a look at Divine Reckoning. Each player chooses a creature he or she controls. Destroy the rest. And it's got flashback. Yeah, that's not bad. This is a maybe board for sure. Thanks for coming and hanging out, guys, and helping with the building. This was a challenge given to me by my Trinisphere castmate, the Timmy Shannon. And I kind of dug it. I've been a little lost for what to build lately, and I think this kind of snapped me out of it because I have always wanted to build this deck. So because Azor's Elocutors, man, they have literally filibuster counters. Can you get any cooler than that? They're filibuster counters, for God's sake. All right, so let's get back to. So let's take a look down the Armageddon route, right? Destroy all lands. Okay, not a Johnny Vengeance. All right, so Armageddon. Man, it's sounding better and better. I'll be honest. Proliferate. Yeah, I grabbed a couple Proliferate cards, Fade. There wasn't a ton because I don't want to put something... I don't want to be too dependent upon the Proliferation, but I did put a couple in there. Mostly Tezzerous Gambit and whatever the other draw one is. Steady Progress as a possibility. I mean, the only other thing I could do is I could put in the Winter Warp. Oh my god. Apparently, we're going the all hate all the time thing. Yeah, see, Catastrophe would be good, except for it's going to destroy our guy too. We'd have to back it up with something. Ooh, Deep Glow Skate. Now that's not bad. Because then that opens up us playing like Elspeth. You know, or at least Elspeth fits a little bit more in that way. So, because Elspeth will not blow up. Let me get through these and then let me take a look at Elspeth. So, Ravages of War. Destroy all permanents except for artifacts and lands. No. Alright. I think Supreme Verdict, which I haven't put in yet. Could Azorius proliferate with Darksteel Reactor? I feel like that's a real long journey to get to Darksteel Reactor. I don't know that I'm willing to take the proliferation that far. However, Deep Glow Skate, I do want to look at Elspeth because I think that she is pretty much perfect in here. So, makes Duders, destroys things that are just slightly bigger than Azorius. You know what? Let's just build Braco. Yeah, I mean, Brago is definitely good, but definitely a very, very different deck. All right. Do we want any other walkers? So this was contingent upon the possibility of Deep Glow Skate. I do like that. I do like that. Plus all the stacks, huh? Just add just stacks and stacks and stacks. It does not seem... I mean, it seems good. Like, it would probably win. And I mean, we're a little bit in that direction with the pillow for it, but... I mean, I guess that's not... It's not horrible. We'll throw a Winter Orb in the maybe board as a reminder of that. Oh god, I don't want to build stacks. All dem. All dem stacks. Alright, let's take a look at counterspell, or let's just think about counterspells for a second. So I'll bring some up. Pact of Negation is my go-to for combo decks. Mostly because it's the most surprise counterspell. The caps. Yeah, Fade, you gotta chill out with the caps. Nightbot's getting angry. So Pact of Negation. We'll put in there. I'm probably just gonna throw Force of Will in there. I'm a fan of the Arcane Denial and the Disdainful Stroke. If you do not know what any of these cards do, you can obviously type, just type in the, we got MTG bot on here, so just type in the exclamation point card and then the name of the card, and you'll get that, and it will show you the text for it in chat there. Alright, so we've got a couple. I don't like to run a ton of counter spells in these because I'm really just trying to protect my combo. The only other one that I'd consider is Forbid. Yes, Chubtoad does come up in MTG chat, MTG bot. Alright, so that's probably going to be it for counters. Alright, card draw. Let's start with a pretty common one. If you're not familiar with Rhystic Study, it's a very good card. It lets me draw lots of cards, especially while people are not attacking me. It does make you a little hated because you literally have to ask them if they want to pay 1 all the time. I'm okay with that. I also want a little bit of early game. I like Mystic Remora. It's not for everybody. I'm a fan of it though. I usually at least draw a few cards off of it, and for a 1-mana investment, it's not that bad. Silence under Icecrown Scepter. Oh my god, you people, you're monsters. Yeah, I mean, that is a thing. Isn't that just target player though? So I mean, you get 1 use out of that, and it's not really countering their spells. So, meh. I don't know. Not a huge fan of that setup. Yeah, Mystic Remora is sweet. I like Mystic Remora a lot. Okay, so we need some card draw, but I want some card draw on sticks because right now we have like nothing as far as creatures, and at some point we need blocks. So let's go into draw card creature and blue, white, and we're gonna get a lot of trash creatures. I guarantee. Yeah, 250. Okay, we gotta. All right, so hold on. If an opponent would draw 2 or more cards, instead you and that player each draw a card. Is this guy worth? Has anybody played with this? Azor, Sphinx's Red. Well, yeah, we haven't gotten there. Yeah, I have Azor in the maybe board. I have no idea whether that's actually good enough, but it probably is. I think I'm going to put Alms Collector in the maybe board as well. Oh, by the way, all these need to actually go in the main. Boop. I want Alms Collector to be good. It's like the nice version of Notion Thief or something. Nope. Are we saying Alms Collector is just hot garbage? Yeah, even not in the precons, even in regular EDH, it's still not cutting it. Kind of want easy, cheap card draw for ETB. All right, enter the battlefield. Let's see what we got here. We got Champion of Wits. See, draw 2, discard 2, so decent filtering. Let's see. We got Cloud Blazer. I love me some Cloud Blazer. That's a, come on. That and Mole Drifter, we're adding that. He's blazing the clouds. It's crazy talk. Alright, what else we got? What else we got? Draw cards, draw cards. Okay, so we're not at ramp yet, but we're just going to throw Solemn in here because we're going to need ramp, and it draws cards, and that card's amazing. That's pretty much it. Alright, what else we got? Mentor of the Meek. We don't really have tons of creatures. Mole Drifter. Let's see what else we got here. Some Garbo, some more hot soup. As the Spike would say. So we Brago now. Look, stop trying to push Brago, but yeah, it's kind of getting closer to that. Look, it's just for the card draw, man. It's not, yeah, I'm going to put a Wall of Omens in here too. How about that? Alright. Then we're going to look for just regular good cards that are card draw. So Sphinx's Revelation. So I think that's good, right? Because we've got Rhystic Study, Mystic Remora, and a few other draw. I mean, that's not bad. I don't know that that's great as far as card draw goes. So we could do something like a Mika Koro or a Gyre Reach Sanitarium. I like Gyre Reach Sanitarium. So let's add that to the board. And then let's do a save. Alright, so that's card draw. So let's see what we can do about tutoring. I have a feeling that we're not going to have much in the way of tutors other than for our enchantments. So search library, card, blue, white. Yeah. Well, let's see what we got here. This is too many, which leads me to believe that we need to. Let's look at how Academy Rector is. Put it into the graveyard and play, you remove it from the game. If you do, search your library for a card. Alright, let's add the word your and see if that helps. A little bit, not much. Okay. Auras. What does this look for? Auras, right? Yeah, auras. Bribery looks for other people's stuff. Equipments or vehicles. Recruiter of the Guard. Recruiter of the Guard won't find it. We want to look for the advisors. We want to look for Azor's Elocutors. So, Recruiter of the Guard definitely does not do it. And as much as we want to go Brago, or some people want to go Brago, the answer is still no. We're not doing it. We're not giving in to the flicker side. This turns take so long. You want me to take all the extra turns and flicker everything on every turn? I mean, that's a bit much, isn't it? Transmute. Tithe. Doesn't Tithe just look for lands? Long-term plans is a maybe. I'll agree with that. But yeah, Tithe just looks for lands, right? Not too... I don't feel that we're going to need that. Because we will have some ramp in here. Yeah. You'd scoot to that? Yeah, okay. I mean, if you were thinking another card, Competitive Commander, I am all ears, because definitely if there's some hot tutor tech that I'm interested in. So this guy is still a maybe. I think he comes in if we have the Deep Glow Skate. Yeah, this guy looks for lands. Do we want to go that route in white? We do, right? We'll look at the land cards in a second. What are we trying to do? Blue-white tutors? We're trying to look through the blue-white tutors for right now to find something that will give us that's basically going to find us Azor's Elocutors is the real goal. If not, we're just left to dig. So I like transmute, but is there anything transmute that actually has the right casting cost? I need a 5 casting cost transmute in blue. I'm going to look that up right after I look through these cards. Ranger of Eos, no. Search for Azcanta. Look at the top card of your library. You can put it in your graveyard if you have 7 or more cards. Meh. Lighten Tutor plus Idyllic Tutor. Yeah, I mean, for some of the pieces, I think that's definitely... those are definitely some options. Probably won't end up running both of them. Alright, let's see what else. Stoneforge. Tezzeret. That doesn't get... It's not really getting anything that we need. Why can't Azor's Elocutors be legendary? That would be amazing. 3 aura cards. Alright. Come on. Come on, be something. Does this have wizard cycling? What are Azor's Elocutors? Hold on. Were they type wizard? Nope, human advisor. Damn it. Almost had it. Mystical and personal tutors for spells. Yep. I think we're gonna be. Mystical tutor will probably go in. Because mystical tutor will at least like get us a wrath if we need one the next turn or something like that. Yeah, Ring of 3 Wishes, Fade. I was thinking that too. God, that's such a slow card, but... The Aether Mage is good for finding Cephalid Breakfast, dude. Yeah. I have not built Cephalid Breakfast, but it sounds cool. More importantly, I'm still looking for what I'm going to build next time. And I was thinking... What's the deck called? Prosperous Bloom, I believe. So that might be the next one that I build. It's an old, I think it was a standard deck from forever ago. But it sounded like something that you could easily make an EDH deck out of. So, all right. So we've got a couple tutors in here. All right, now we do need to look at ramp. Alright, so ramp, we're going to go a couple rocks and a couple of just regular ramps. So let's go with the 2 mana rocks. Azorius, it's probably not how you spell that. Azorius Signet, Mind Stone, Soul Ring. I know it's 1 mana. Fade says I. Not sure what we're going for there, but good to know that you're a fan of that particular Val. Let's see. Azorius Signet. Could go Fel Warstone. We're gonna start with land tax. What else do we have in the rampish category? Because white has a little bit of it. It's not great, but it does have a few options. Don't know the multiplayer ban list. Is Vault allowed? Vault is allowed, as is Crypt, which I'm actually an even bigger fan of. Obviously more expensive. But Planar Portal, yeah. I mean, Planar Portal is an option, but I mean, I feel like if we're gonna do that, then we should just use the new one, right? It's the thing. There you go, Planar Bridge. You know. I mean, Planar Portal is cute and all. Like, you gotta pay 6 and it goes to your hand. But let's just pay that 8 at the end of somebody's turn. I mean, we'll put it in the maybe board. I don't think that we'll end up having the mana for it generally. But you know, you get late enough in the game, it's a possibility. The problem I have here is that what we have so far is so far from a deck, it's ridiculous. Like, we have no creatures. We have, like, and I mean, yeah, we've got a lot of like pillows, but I don't know. I mean, what else are we gonna do here? We're gonna do blind obedience. I'm not going to do extraplanar lens. I don't want to fall in that trap. There is there a talisman in these colors? I think there is. Talisman of, yeah, progress. There we go. We've got Talismano Azorius. I had no idea that that's how the charms came across. All right, let's see what we got here. Isn't there another card like Stuffy Doll? There is, right? Not Stiffy, Stuffy Doll. Alright. Whenever is dealt damage to you, deal that much damage to... Let's see what we can find here. Okay. Boros Reckoner, not in our colors. How about we go back here and we get rid of all of those colors, because they're bad. Creepy Doll, somebody says. Creepy Doll. Let's see what Creepy Doll does. Alright, well that didn't come up with anything. Creepy Doll. Deals combat damage. What? Well, that's just bad. Let's not play that. Alright, so let's see. What do we need? What do we need? Alright, so we're only 47 cards, which means that we need to at least start thinking about lands. And then we need to start considering these strats here. Alright, you know what? We're going to take Competitive Commander's idea. Well, you know what? Let's throw a little bit of all this in here. We're going to get rid of Peacekeeper. We're going to get rid of Pariah's Shield. I don't actually think Plea for Power is all that good. We're going to leave Stuffy Doll. I like long-term plans. Still don't think Lighthouse Chronologist ever gets there. Elspeth I like. Divine Reckoning. Still wavering on. Okay, so let's grab this stuff. And put it over here. In the main and see where we are. Okay. We're at 71 cards, which is too many. That's too many cards. Did you know that, guys? That's too many cards. Okay, so let's start paring down. Winter Orb's a good way to get killed. But I like it. I don't know. What do we think? Winter Orb? It's a little dirty, that one. Little dirty. It's kind of why I like it, but I think Divine Reckoning has to come out. because I just don't think we have room for it. I kind of want to take Cataclysmic Gearhulk out, but it is a creature, and it does things, but it doesn't blow up everything. It's gone. It's gone. I actually won't. Do I want to take Austere Command out? Austere Command is really good. Alms Collector probably comes out, right? That's just... I'm trying to live a dream that doesn't exist. This looks like the grindiest deck I've ever seen. Sarah Ascendant makes friends. Sarah Ascendant makes friends. That, I almost want a bumper sticker of that with like a big red line through it. Those aren't your real friends. Let's take Steady Progress out. Let's see. Paradox Haze. Is Paradox Haze just too greedy because it really only affects one card? I think it is. I think it's just all the greed. All right, let's see what we end up with here. And while that's saving, I will look at add blue or white mana pool. Okay. So I'm not going to use Edakar Wastes because it deals damage to me, which gets rid of filibuster counters. That's the opposite of what we want to be doing. Azor's Chancery is fine. It's not amazing, but it's fine. Guildgate, I say no. Boreal Shelf, no. Celestial Colonnade, now you're talking my language. Border Post, no. Glacial Fortress is a yes. Can we talk about how great this art is? Like I'm not a huge fan of the pirate theme in this set, but Jesus, like that glacier right there is just, it's pretty awesome. I like it. Hollowed Fountain is a definite. I spell it right? I did. Look at that. Irrigated Farmland. I still don't like these. I still do not like these cards. These like almost decent fetchable, like, I don't know, man. They don't strike me the right way. Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Well, that's unlikely. Okay. Mystic Gate is good. Nimbus Maze. I like Nimbus Maze. I don't know if it's ever actually good. Yeah, a lot of people have been kind of hype with the art from the basics of Rivals. I've even like watched a few videos talking about the like just price speculation and things like that. And apparently they're, you know, like they're actually wavering on price up and down because You know, some people are actually like buying the lands, the basics from that specifically, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't usually happen. When I played Rivals, I didn't really pay attention to the art on the basics that much, but yeah, it is nice. As Port Town enters the battlefield, reveal. No. All damage from a source. You know what? Why not? Why not? Right? We're in these colors. It prevents damage. It's a land. Seems good. Prairie Stream. 2 or more basic lands. That's pretty likely. And it's a Plains Island. I'm good with that. Hey, you know what? If Wizards is going to keep getting better at something, I guess land art is a thing. Kind of wish it was like, you know, unique card design, but Temple of Enlightenment. So is a Guildgate plus Scry 1 actually worth here? I don't know. I mean, I guess if it goes in any deck, it goes in this kind of deck where we're kind of a little control-y. Tundra, Obvi. What is it? Oh my god. I don't know how people play MTGO and look at these things. I need a weird like rectangle, like concentric rectangles inside the text box of my Aber duels, personally. Maybe that's just me. And then we need the fetch. And the fetch for... Wow. Search, Plains, Island, no idea what it's called right now. Not Floodplain, Flooded Strand, there we go. Ooh. It's a little late. It's a little late, so... With text so small it's unreadable? Yes, this is exactly, that's why you play original revised duels. I prefer revised ones because they're white-bordered, which triggers a whole bunch of like real spiky people too. Like I like triggering people because I'm not playing the most expensive version of an expensive card. Alright, so now we will fill up with now we'll fill up with some basics, and we'll just put in one of each for right now, and then we'll take a look at our mana distribution. Alright, so let's minimize this guy, and we will expand this for right now. Alright, we're almost 50-50 on everything, so I think that we're probably going to do that as far as the lands go. So we have 21 slots left. So we'll add 10 plains and 11 islands to what we already have. So islands, what did we say, add 11, so we'll be at a total of 12, and then plains will be at a total of 11. Okay. That should put us What, right at 100 cards. Okay. Just 36 lands. That's not good. One of which being Maze of Ith. One of which being Glacial Chasm. So we're effectively at 34 lands. Okay, so we've got to cut more. All damage is prevented. That's not bad. This is prevent all damage. I feel like we get rid of comeuppance. We get rid of temporal manipulation? Maybe? Or idyllic tutor. Or is just expropriate the greediest thing ever. What do we think? What do we think? I'm in between those. I'm thinking expropriate, temporal manipulation, or comeuppance. Well, that's 3 of them, so which one am I going to keep? I mean, expropriate's probably the greediest. So we'll get rid of expropriate. And oh Jesus, MTGO. I was like, what? How is temporal manipulation only $4? Nope, 4 tickets. Because that's a really expensive card. We just threw a caution to the wind and put mode in here too. I mean, it should be. I think I'm leaning toward temporal manipulation. Because if we Armageddon, we're less likely to be able to cast that. I mean, we can probably work our way back up to temporal trespass. And if we draw into temporal mastery, we might be able to do something there. And I mean, temporal manipulation is just too expensive. So let's take that out. All right. So let's refresh. It has, look, Grand Arbiter, man. He's going to be good. All right. So let's see. Our curve is really high, too. So we should be at 98 cards now. So we need to add in. Oh, we realistically, you know what? We got to take out the comeuppance too, because we had to add 3 lands in, not just 2. So the islands will go up to 13. The plains will also go up to 13. I should have just hit regular save. All right, let's see. What do we got? What do we got here? Let's take a look at these deck stats. Got 100 cards. Look, this is 100% competitive. 100%. Okay? Feel like as soon as we put Winter Orb and Grand Augustin, we made it 100% competitive. I don't necessarily believe that to be true. So we're 39 lands, effectively 37 lands, because 2 of them are non-mana producing. This is gonna be just a straight up control deck for most of the time. Blazing Archon might be really greedy too. I think that this is a good first draft of this, so we're gonna go ahead and publish it. So we will take off the prototype and private from it. Descriptions are required. Okay. Streamed deck building around Azors, Elocutors. Stream deck from was it the 5th? 2/5/2018. It's the day after the Super Bowl. Maze of Ith is the featured card. It's kind of perfect. I think we should make it Azor's Elocutors though. Yeah. Let's change that up. I don't actually know. I'm interested to know how it makes that determination, whatever the featured card is going to be. What do you mean you don't know what that is? Isn't it in the deck? It's this one right here. Did I spell it wrong? It's quite possible. Let's be honest. Alright, there we go. Azor's Elocutors. It likes it now. So, I will throw the deck list in the chat. And I'll make sure that when this publishes to YouTube, that I will throw it out there as well if it publishes to YouTube. Alright, so that is going to be it for me tonight. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you later. Until then, keep brewing.